Tackling radicalisation in Britain was given top government priority today, 6 years after al-Qaeda's attack on the World Trade Center in New York, almost 15 years after the first British Muslims travelled abroad for jihad. Speaking at the launch of a new group set up by King's College London to study political violence, the Home Secretary outlined new initiatives, more emphasis on counter-radicalisation in the police and tough measures to combat radicalisation over the internet.
If we're ready and willing to take action to stop the grooming of the vulnerable young on social networking sites, then I believe that we should also take action against those who groom vulnerable young people for the purposes of violent extremism.
But controlling material on the internet is a tough challenge indeed. This is the Al-Ikhlas site. This week we revealed it carried a statement from a group claiming to be al-Qaeda in Britain, calling on British Muslims to prepare themselves for martyrdom operations. Classic propaganda. There's a catalogue of speeches from Osama bin Laden and video of insurgency operations. It's extremely difficult to choke off this material because Al-Ikhlas uses 4 different computer servers based abroad. The Home Secretary emphasised today that the government must consult widely within the Muslim community to develop its counter-radicalisation policy.
We can't, after all, simply arrest our way out of this problem. So there is a particular and compelling role for Muslim organisations, institutions and civic society to challenge what I've described today as anti-Islamic activity.
Hundreds of thousands of pounds is already being distributed to new community groups which have been set up to tackle extremism. One mosque leader I spoke to tonight said there's far too little scrutiny over how this money is being used. One of the most prominent groups, the Radical Middle Way, has received central government support, but critics told us today they were unhappy about some of the speakers booked by the group in recent days, questioning whether their views can really help fight radicalisation in Britain. The Radical Middle Way's website states that it's a grassroots initiative aimed at articulating a mainstream understanding of Islam that is dynamic, proactive and relevant, particularly to young British Muslims. It's received £350,000 from central government funds. Last night it hosted a talk in Birmingham. James Brandon, who works for the think tank the Centre for Social Cohesion, provided an audio recording of the lecture in which the Grand Mufti of Bosnia, who has a reputation as a moderate, spoke extensively about the importance of creating the Caliphate or Islamic State.
This is the difference between Europeans and the Muslims. Muslims love each other more than any other people in the world, but they don't respect each other. In Europe, they don't like each other. They don't like each other, but they respect their professional work. If we respect each other as we love each other, I think the whole world will be under our control. That means we are missing one of the principles of Islam because we don't have this global leadership.
My concerns aren't so much what's being said. These things are being said the whole time. The problem is that this is being said at government expense as part of a project to tackle extremism. And I find it hard to believe that of all the Muslims in the UK, there are no more moderate people than Kamal Helbawi.
A former Islamist radical who used to campaign for the Caliphate himself attended the lecture.
From people who just have problems with what they see with the world, and just, I think all people always are going to see things that are not ideal or problems that need to be changed. It's a bridge between having that sentiment and going to an extremist ideology which naturally leads into terrorism. And this is really the problem.
My understanding of the phenomenon of caliphate, it existed, it lasted for centuries, it is there in the Muslim minds in one way or another. It is a kind of a Muslim doctrine, if you like any other doctrine that you have, because Muslims have right to organize themselves the way they wanted. So this is not for the West or for the East to tell them how to do it.
The Radical Middle Way has also invited a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, which campaigns in the Middle East for an Islamic State, to speak at another meeting tonight in London. But this man told me why not, because he's British and believes in democracy here.
I have been the spokesman of Brotherhood in the West, a member since 1951. We never taught anyone violence, But we are misunderstood, and this is the problem of the other party.
Yes, but let's be clear. The Muslim Brotherhood believes in the creation of a caliphate, an Islamist state. It doesn't support democracy.
They believe in working for Islam and da'wah.
But not democracy.
No, listen to me. Democracy is a part of it, because we have what we call shura in Arabic, that is consultation. And the essence of democracy is all contained in this shura system.
A spokeswoman for the radical middle way told me tonight they didn't agree with his views, but they've decided to invite some Islamists in to avoid being labelled as too progressive. The question of who to back, then, is obviously a vexed one for government, which critics say is on a steep learning curve after years of neglecting this issue.